I'm not a prophet of doom, and as I respect God and I respect myself and I respect your trust for me. So if I stand here and I tell you things, especially I'm prophesying, I make sure that I know what I'm saying. I saw something about next year that will make you need this message, because what I saw is going to be a time of turbulence and serious challenge.
You will listen to the rest of the video later. I know that this is not the kind of message or news you expect from me, but I think I have a lot of analysis to talk about this video. You see, I do not need any pastor, imam, or a prophet to tell me that next year is going to be a troublesome year, especially in Nigeria. When you look at everything going on, our economy is drastically going down because we are not producing enough and we don't have the conducive environment to produce. That is why inflation is increasing more than expected. Now, when you look at the budget that Tinubu presented, 27-point-something trillion naira to the Federal House of Assembly, when you study the budget, 80% of the budget will be used to pay debts. And they are still borrowing. And most of this money they are borrowing, they are not going to utilize it well. They are budgeting 21.1 billion for the office of the Chief of Staff, Mr. Femi. They said he have to use 10 billion just to renovate his office residence, and 10.1 billion for computer software, 15 billion for Vice President's house. As when you look at the budget, that is just the budget of consumption. They are not even channeling the money to some investment and infrastructure that could bring back the money. And when things are going wrong like this, when the inflation is high, the only thing you will see in Nigeria is that people will begin to commit crime because they can't afford their daily food. Salaries will not be increased, but every rest of the things will be increasing. Fuel will be increasing, foodstuff, and so on and so forth. So I think this message by Apostle Joshua Selman is timely, and people have to prepare for what to come next year. Don't say that you were not told.
I'm not a prophet of doom, and as I respect God and I respect myself and I respect your trust for me. So if I stand here and I tell you things, especially I'm prophesying, I make sure that I know what I'm saying. I saw something about next year that will make you need this message, because what I saw is going to be a time of turbulence and serious challenge for believers. I'm not a prophet of doom. My teaching grace is enough for me like that. I mustn't prophesy. But if I open my mouth and I tell you something, you just believe it. So don't ignore when you see God bring things like this. He's redeeming the future. There is something he has seen. You see that now? I saw many people folding their companies, and people, both father and mother, losing jobs at the prime, not even knowing what to do. PTA meetings happening, and teachers are saying, you cannot drive our children. Why don't you structure the payment? When I saw that thing, my heart, I said, God, what is the meaning of this? When God shows things like this, it's not to put fear, but he's showing it so that believers can be prepared. Now you have something on ground. God has shown you mercy. I wish I had the time. I would have taught you on financial carelessness. There are people who are going to spend everything God gave them this December and then suffer by January. Hear this servant of God, don't. There is nowhere written in the Bible that if you don't eat cow and chicken, you will not commemorate the birth of Jesus. Live a modest and a decent life within your means. Are we together now? Remember the dream of Joseph. 7 years of plenty. If you have the money, fine, you, God bless you. But for many of us, who, especially those that the year has been rough, there is a mindset people have that once it is Christmas, burn everything you have, finish all the money, live a fake and a false life, carry your family and go around the world, and then return back and suffer. That's not a wise bargain. For someone, God is helping you to now begin to be frugal. Another thing I would have thought about is living a fake life. One of the major reasons, a fake life is very expensive. Write it down. A fake life is very expensive. It takes so much to fund a fake life. And once you start, you must maintain it. A fake life is very expensive. If you are not there, you are not there. You can start gradually with the dignity of kingdom integrity. A fake life is expensive. Don't try to buy a car that is not yet your level. Don't try to go and live in a house that is not yet your level. You are living in a house that you are owing 3 years rent now. You can't pay back. It's a sign you are not yet there. Get out of that place and look for a decent place. Hallelujah. There are some of us, you do not yet have the means to start gathering people and celebrating elaborate birthdays, elaborate occasions. No, be patient. God is bringing you there. Even for schools, as much as I would want you to educate your children at the highest level, you must be wise and keep them within your budget. Find the best school that your budget can afford. If your child is on scholarship, that is fine. Otherwise, find the budget, the school that your budget can afford. But by all means, Koinonia, please hear me. Great disaster is going to befall many. And there are many who will begin to tour the corridors of compromise because of this finance thing. I shall not want is not just a prophetic declaration. It is a declaration that comes with responsibilities. And the responsibility is learn all you can. Now that God has given you a good job, don't waste your salary that is coming. Learn all you can about investments. Are we together now? Meet intelligent people with integrity who know what they are saying, not people playing games all around the internet, deceiving and fooling people. Don't fall prey to some of these things. Seek counsel.
So we just heard from Apostle Joshua Selman, and I believe some of you would like to get the full sermon where he spoke more in detail. So I'm going to do well to leave the link right down there in the description section. But for those of us who would prefer an audio-only version to this message, I'll also leave the link to that as well. So for the meanwhile, feel free to enjoy the rest of this video.
There are 5 kinds of investment you must make in your life. Number 1 is your spiritual investment. Number 2, investment in your mind. Let me give you this and then we'll wrap up. 5 kinds of investment. Number 1, your spiritual investment. When I talk of investments, I'm not just talking of putting money. Your relationship with Jesus is a potent investment that has returns, even financial returns. Number 2, mental investments. What you store in your mind is there. You don't need to refrigerate it. You don't need to warm it. It is there and will always be ready to be delivered when needed. Number 3, invest in your health and your well-being. It's an investment. Invest in your health and your well-being. It's often said that people deteriorate their health to make money, then they use the money they have made to now maintain their health that is now deteriorated. Don't be like that. Invest in your health and your wellness. Number 4, invest in strategic relationships. Relationships are an investment. They bring returns. Mighty, marvelous.
Don't ever believe that a politician is a leader. Don't ever believe that. Because the system that we have produces politicians. It doesn't produce leaders. And so you can have a politician who knows nothing about leadership and he's leading you. Politicians are concerned about the next election. That's all they're interested in. That's why they cannot be leaders. But leaders are different. Leaders are concerned about the next generation. I want you to compare those 2 thoughts the next time you have a politician come to your house wanting to vie for your vote. Just ask him, what is your vision for my children? I will sit and listen for 20 minutes for you to tell me what it is. He will leave your house because he has no interest in your children's children. His concern is to stay in power, to keep the position, to win the next election. This is why they cannot lead. When you are going to have a conversation with a politician, you should actually try this as a test. You, by the way, as a citizen of a community, you have a right to be seen by the mayor. Hope you know that. If you voted for a mayor, the mayor works for you. Therefore, you have a right to see him. You can make an appointment to see any public officer you voted for. Did you know that? That's your legal right. If he don't want to see you, you can take him to court. That's democracy. So I want you to make an appointment to go and see your mayor or go and see your governor and just sit and say, I want 30 minutes with you, sir. And ask him about that list right there. Sir, what is your purpose for being in leadership in this city? What is your purpose? The first question will make him very nervous. Second question, what is your passion for our community? He'll be wondering what you're talking about. What are you talking about? I just want to build roads and bridges and provide jobs. No. What is your passion? And this is why we need to question the leaders we have. And so I have a little thought here. I call it politics versus leadership. Let's talk about it for a second. Number one, politicians focus on programs, not vision. Number two, politicians' priority is securing the next election, not securing the next generation. Their focus is different. Number three, politicians are preoccupied with promises, not purpose. What we need is statesmen, stateswomen. We don't need more politicians.